everyone. My name is Kelly Woodbury. I'm the sergeant in recruitment in the Northeast region, and today I'm coming at you.
Welcome everybody to today's AMA. I am Acting Sergeant Lisa Lawrence, and I'm reporting to you from the Northwest region, Thunder Bay.
Wonderful.
Here with me, I have Sergeant Kelly Woodbury, and she is reporting from the Sudbury Detachment, and she is the sergeant with Uniform Recruitment, Sudbury Detachment. Welcome, Kelly. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I think we might have a bit of a delay in sound.
Oh, I don't know if she can hear.
Stand by.
Oh. Are we back up and running?
I hope so.
Sorry about the delay, everyone. Thanks for joining in and welcome to today's AMA. For anyone, if you missed the introduction, I'm Acting Sergeant Lisa Lawrence. I am tuning in from Thunder Bay Detachment at in the Northwest region.
Awesome. And I'm Kelly Woodbury, Recruitment Sergeant in the Northeast region, and today I'm coming at you from Sudbury Detachment.
So today we are going to go over basically the application process and some tips and tricks for everyone and how to avoid getting your application sent back. So I'm going to start. A lot of the commonly asked questions that we do get is, people have questions when they're filling out their application. How do I do this? How do I do that? So I'm going to go over, we're going to discuss a few commonly asked topics. So I'm going to start with employment. Okay, so this is a kind of an area where people kind of ask, hey, you know what? It's been a while. It's been 15 years since I've had my last employment. I can't remember names. I can't remember they've closed businesses, anything like that. So in order to avoid not having missing information in your application, so describe every position that you've held since the beginning of your work experience. That includes out of province, out of country employment, anything that you've held 2 or more positions with the same employer, and then also list and describe each one separately. If you can't, for some reason, remember, if you don't have phone numbers, try Service Ontario, try the Canada Revenue Agency. Sometimes you can get information there as well. And then also include, don't forget, military, part-time, summer employment, self and short-term employment. And then any positions within and outside of Canada. Then anything chronological order, beginning with present and going backwards. Kelly, what can you tell us about transcripts?
For sure. So when it comes to transcripts, we require official transcripts from the college or university or program that anybody completed or on the contrary, didn't complete. If you have education that remains incomplete, that too must be included and the transcript provided for that, whether it be withdraws or fails or good grades and completion. We want to see the transcripts from each of those pieces of education. And when I say official transcript, that means that it has to be a stamped or signed version of a transcript officially from the school that it was from. We do not accept copies of those. So that's one stickler piece. Your file will be returned to you if you don't have official transcripts.
So any questions you do have so far, just put them in the chat and we will get to them, answer them as we can. So going on, next, OACP consent forms. Okay, so computer-generated signatures, unfortunately, are not accepted. So make sure you carefully review each form and that you have like your full mailing address, including any unit numbers, any street numbers, any addresses, cities, province, countries, and postal codes as well. And then your signature must be witnessed and dated in person at the same time. And all 5 forms have to come back. So just remember that. And then include that as one PDF file. Sign it with an electronic or digital signature. And, unfortunately, if they're not done as the directions, it will be returned. All of these, kind of tips that Kelly and I are reviewing and going over with you, it's all on our website at opp.ca/careers. So if you have any questions, just refer to the website. I know we say that a lot, but the website has all of the information on there.
Great. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about fitness. Fitness happens to be a portfolio and recruitment that I'm in charge of, and I do see a lot of questions surrounding fitness and how people can be meeting the expectations and filling out their paperwork correctly. So the fitness logs are a requirement in your application where you need 2 weeks of fitness logs recorded and submitted with your application. There's several components on those fitness logs that are essential to show your commitment to a healthy lifestyle as well as fitness in general. In there, we're looking to see a component specifically that talks about fitness pin self-tests. That is an area that has all the components for your fitness pin that you should be testing weekly and recording that in your fitness logs. Another area in there is that a shuttle run is a requirement. Once your application is deemed complete, we'll be asking for a shuttle run video or that you attend an in-person session. Level 7 on the Leger shuttle run is the minimum requirement and mandatory to move on through the process. Now, I do see a number of challenges with shuttle run videos, so please pay close attention to the instructions on how to record your video.
Oh, the dreaded level 7 shuttle run.
Yes, 100%. That is a minimum expectation and requirement is that level 7. If you're unfamiliar with the Leger shuttle run, there are links on our YouTube and in the website to take a look at that, see what it looks like to run it, and how to set up your course properly. We need to see in the video you crossing the end lines at each end and your full run from start to finish. We also need it to be a one-time recorded video in that we don't want to see broken pieces of an introduction followed by measurements, followed by a run. It should be one video all the way through so that we can clearly identify you as the runner in that.
And okay, so you do the portfolios and you often see the people videotaping themselves and running. What have you seen that has kind of raised some questions about the actual the true video?
Yeah, so some of the interesting things that I've seen are folks running with hats and glasses and things of that nature. And I can't confirm that they are the same person in the introduction as is the person who is running. I also see camera angles that don't necessarily show the entire run. There's 2 options for that camera angle. One, to have somebody help you and pan the camera left and right to show the person meeting the end lines and warning lines at each end, or to have the camera backed up far enough so that just the one view can show the whole entire run. I see folks not paying attention to warning line violations. And unfortunately, more than 2 violations for the warning lines will be a disqualification, and you'll have to redo your video.
Okay, I see there's some questions in the chat, so let's answer a few for everybody. So Jeffin asks, what about transcripts for online certificate programs such as like the CPKN? It was mentioned on the site that we can include them, but when I check, it's asked for information similar to regular diploma to show that fill them properly. Okay, so these certificates that you do on top of your post-secondary, they can go into like supporting documentation uploads. So anything. So when we ask for like, so your high school transcripts, post-secondary transcripts, those are going to be in the education place. And so we need the official high school and the official post-secondary transcripts. If you can't get them, you're going to have to contact the institution and provide the official transcripts for us. Hope that answers your question.
I'll take a note at Kyla asks about having another program before going into police foundations. Not a problem. We just need to see all the grades on your transcript for each course that you took. So it should not be a problem there. Pictures of official transcripts. We need official transcripts. If you're scanning in a document, that's acceptable. However, it still has to be that official transcript.
Okay, another one too, good question. Can I be considered without post-secondary education? And if you're just not liking your institution or actually enjoy post-secondary, absolutely. We do have our minimum requirements. Minimum requirements is your high school diploma or equivalency. It is no longer called your GED. So as of May 2024, we actually, it's replaced by the CAEC or CEAC. So it's all new. So sorry, I apologize if I didn't get the acronyms right, but that is the equivalency to that. So we do have our minimum requirements on our website. So what does that mean that I don't have that? Well, if you're not enjoying your post-secondary education or any of the courses, what you can do to make yourself competitive, there is a lot of online learning that you can take. Just find something that you're really passionate about. Go over 10 areas of assessment. Education is one of them. So if you just have your minimum high school, we look for life experience as well, which is great. There's all sorts of free online courses that you can take to be competitive. So to answer your question, absolutely, you can apply without post-secondary education.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, as far as education goes, it doesn't weigh anything. You can carry it with you anywhere, and completing courses, not necessarily the entire program, but completing something that you started, it shows some character as well. So just be mindful of your decision making and that you're putting your full effort in while you're there. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's the program you want to continue in. However, we are paying close attention to each of your decisions as you move forward.
Okay, so we'll move back to driver's abstract is another big thing on the application that people have commonly asked questions or have errors. So if you've ever had a driver's license outside the province of Ontario, even if it's been canceled or expired, you must submit a full driver's abstract for each applicable province and country. But don't submit an abstract unless you've had a license outside the province of Ontario. So again, don't need one for the province of Ontario if you have a license in the province of Ontario. And then also if you don't have the abstracts, and I know it's frustrating because sometimes it takes a while for provinces, and I know some of the provinces are not providing abstracts, I believe, for if you go back 10 years or more. Okay. Any questions? Let's go over. I have another question about the resumes. Are the resumes and cover letters processed and filtered out through artificial intelligence on the base of keywords, like they're being processed in any other sectors for job applications, or they are read manually by the recruiter in OPP? Well, if you're asking that question, then I'm going to guess that you're probably using AI. So we genuinely want to see that you're doing, like, obviously on the website, there's, you can Google how to create a great resume. They'll give you examples, but obviously we want to see that you're doing it yourself. So yes, do the resume and cover letter professionally. Do it to the best of your ability. Do it yourself. It is with the application. So we do want to see, when we read your applications and we do the summaries, and then, if you're in an interview, sometimes if you have somebody fill out the summary, and sometimes when you use AI on the summary, we can tell during the interviews there may be a discrepancy. So that just goes with integrity, right? It goes with pride. It goes with work ethic. So just have somebody check it over, check for spelling errors, check for grammar errors. There are lots of examples on the website that will give you cover letter. Don't sweat the kind of cover letter and the resumes, because a lot of, more than when you're submitting a 2 to 3 page resume, you kind of lose everything. So usually 1 page for resume is suffice, because everything, like the summaries, everything that is in our online application is what we'll need to know. So just make sure your resume is professional and done by yourself.
And I can add to that, as far as wondering if we use in the OPP, if we're using AI to scan through your applications. No, there's a real set of eyes on each application. I noticed a question in regards to PIN testing. So being familiar with the Ontario Fitness PIN, as I mentioned, there's an expectation of 75% or better on the PIN test. It does not mean that you cannot put in your application if you're not reaching that mark, but I would expect that you are practicing and are improving each week on that fitness PIN, and it would certainly help the recruitment process know that you are fit, and it's a means of you doing self-testing to measure your fitness. But technically, you could put in your application without reaching the 75% yet at that point, so long as you can hit level 7 on the shuttle run or better.
Okay, we have some more questions. Ban asks, if someone had completed the study outside Canada, can we provide the equivalent assessment from Canadian University? Absolutely. As long as they're on the website, the institutions that do the translation, kind of like WES, they're all listed. So as long as you use an approved institution to do the translation, absolutely, you can provide the equivalent assessment.
Right. Johnny asks in regards to, the one I meant to go to is the shuttle run certificates. And if they are expired, do you need to redo that? 100%. If the certificate is expired, it will not count as your initial shuttle run. However, if you have included it, it still looks positive that it's part of your motivation, etc., that you attended an event and passed a level 7. But you will have to do a video of yourself when requested if your application is deemed complete at that point.
Okay, one of the other tips too, Kelly, if you want to talk about the out-of-country police certificates and just kind of explain a little bit about why we need those.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone who hasn't been a Canadian resident for over 5 years, they're required to obtain a police certificate from each foreign country where they lived within that prescribed 5-year period. This is a must provide in this scenario. in regards to an individual's criminal record or a declaration of absence of any criminal record from that country.
Okay, so when you're filling out the application, because it's online, like I said, you register, it gives you, a file number, and you can work on it as you need to. I would get all your documents that you need together, and it's just easier that way. Any high school transcripts, post-secondary transcripts, the official ones, sometimes it takes a while. If you need to get conversions for your post-secondary from approved institutions, I know those are taking like 8 to 10 weeks. I know it's frustrating, but that's probably easier. If you check no to any of our minimum requirements, it should not allow you to proceed any further. So usually there is no reason why, if you submit your application and it actually is active and you've checked off all the boxes and you've downloaded or uploaded the proper documents, there is no reason why you would not get a response from us. So if for some reason that, I've had people say, hey, well, I haven't heard from you guys. Well, it might be that you didn't meet the minimum requirements. The other thing too, I find, is people have an issue when uploading their documents. Sometimes they won't upload, and that's just putting in the right name and naming the file exactly like it says. I know sometimes people have a space and they have trouble uploading the documents. So it has those examples right on the website. And then it also does, Kelly, it does say a lot of tips and tricks on the website as well that we're going over.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can remind yourselves throughout the process that attention to detail is very important. So when you're given specific instructions, whether it be naming conventions to upload your documents, that's going to play a role in us evaluating your ability to pay attention to those details, follow directions. I see a question from Johnny in regards to having over 20 jobs over the course of 15 years. Is that considered a detriment? Absolutely no, it's not. Switching jobs or changing career paths is each person's journey as they go through their adulthood. The way we're evaluating and looking at positions is what did you learn from the last job you had? What did you take from that, carrying it forward? Are you a reliable employee with good work ethic? Now, that's not to say that everybody doesn't make a mistake. And when I'm speaking to a younger audience, sometimes I'll mention, hey, if you got fired when you were 16 from McDonald's because you weren't a very good employee, you just need to take responsibility for that. That you were perhaps a bit immature at the time, you weren't ready for the responsibility of the job, and fast forward, later you obtained a good job and you showed how you could be flexible, how you were reliable, all of these sorts of things, and you just are going to explain what you learned from your youth or from whatever mistake you made as you went. So we see people that not only have changed jobs, but completely changed career paths to come to policing. So not a detriment.
Okay, Ashley asked a great question. Do I need a university degree? I have police foundations, I work full-time, and I'm a mother. While you have police foundations, that's post-secondary. So post-secondary is college or university degree. Being a full-time mother should be awarded another degree on top of that as well. That even goes farther than post-secondary. So police foundations, absolutely, it's a diploma, it's post-secondary. And then to further that, no, you don't need police-related education to apply for the OPP. So like we said, on our areas of assessment, to be competitive, we have 10 areas of assessment. Education is one of them. Everybody's wheel is going to look differently. So don't compare yourself, because sometimes we have people that graduated high school and post-secondary institution is not for them. They wanted life experience before they wanted to apply to the OPP, and they went out and started working. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great to have, like Kelly mentioned, we love people from all different types of backgrounds and experiences. So having police foundations that is recognized, and it's a diploma, it's post-secondary. So Ashley, by all means, apply.
Awesome. Lots of questions coming in here. Aaron asks about community involvement and does it matter whether that's paid or on a volunteer basis. We definitely want to see community involvement. If you can take a line from we are a police service, so how do you serve your community is something that you need to ask yourself. This comes in many different ways when we're looking at this. Now, certainly I've seen some paid positions that would still be very much so serving your community, perhaps even a job in the military where you serve your entire country. You could articulate the sacrifices and things that are made to serve in that capacity. Volunteering is certainly important, and it shows your ability to give back to the community and be involved. So pay close attention to how you're going to articulate yourself. If you're in a paid position and considering that community service, you have to really articulate yourself in that.
And I know high school mandatory 40 hours to graduate. So no, those don't count towards the community service because they're actually, if you don't do them, you don't graduate. So that's, I know you're serving in the community, but let's face it, a lot of people might not do the community service if they just graduated high school. I know when I went through, it wasn't mandatory, but now it is. So the community service, just to add on what Kelly says, there's a reason why we ask for that on our areas of assessment. There's a reason why we want people engaged, because what do we really do as police officers? We serve in the community. So it could look like anything. Like if you're looking for something, you can Google. Some towns and cities don't have like a lot of opportunities. So on the websites, they do have places. It could be something as helping out your neighbors. If, elderly neighbors, I know people, the question comes up, hey, I am taking care of my parents full time. I work full time. I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm a caregiver. So yes, we do take that into consideration as well.
Good. Sam asks, is there a minimum age that you would begin listing employment? No, there's not. We want to know every employment you've ever had, starting from the beginning, listed in reverse. So what you have now, all the way back through. So high school jobs, we also want to know about.
Mackenzie asks, I have completed my OACP certificate. All I have is the medical examinations next. For the exams, it requires invoice and receipts. I ended up getting my hearing test completed and while on site up at work by the nurse who is also qualified. Okay, so I'm thinking it's OACP certificate of results. Is that how you read it, Kelly? Or
I believe so. Yeah, that she has her OACP certificate,
okay,
which is not a requirement for the OPP.
Not a requirement, just for municipal courses, it's a requirement. So if you've got the hearing test completed, as long as it's on our OACP forms and it's within the year, providing that, that's the forms that you've used, then we should take them. If they're just done by someone who is not qualified, then unfortunately, you might have to redo them.
Another question on here is bilingual mandatory? And no, it is not. English is mandatory, first and foremost, and any other language aside from English is a bonus. And is certainly helpful depending on what community you serve, but English is the bottom line, only language mandatory.
So any questions, if you're in the process currently, any questions that we haven't answered, opphire@opp.ca. Any other questions like that you have that if we don't get a chance to answer or go over and you're having issues with, please feel free to reach out to the uniform recruitment at opp.ca.
Absolutely.
Okay, and more questions. These are great questions that are coming in. So we'll take a couple more. My resume is 3 pages because of my many years of work in a variety of fields. Is that okay? So as long as you have everything listed on the resume, I mean, there is no kind of like minimum or maximum to a resume. Just make sure the resume just is including everything that you need to include. And if it has to be 3 pages, it's 3 pages. What do you think of that, Kelly?
Absolutely. I'm seeing so many questions here. Someone asked about the possibility of ride-alongs. Now, this is something that is determined on case by case, and you're encouraged to reach out to your local detachment to inquire about a ride-along. We can't make any promises about those. It'll be up to the discretion of each detachment commander.
As far as uploading CPR, standard CPR in the education, there is another spot in supporting documentation that you can label your level C and first aid. So you can place them in supporting documentations.
Awesome.
And any other outside education that you do have, you can put them under the education. Just make sure they're labeled properly if it's relevant to education. If it's any other certificates that you've ever had or that you've earned, you can put them under supporting documentation.
Right, a few more here. Someone asks about the 6 detachment postings that you're going to choose. If the 6 postings that you've chose do not need anybody at those specific detachments, will your file just be pushed off to the side? No, it will not be. That being said, we work with our recruits that are successful, and if we do not have a posting for them in one of their 6 choices, we're going to discuss where they'd be a good fit, and we'll work with them to make sure that they're happy in the offer location that they're given. Now, that being said, I'm in the Northeast region and Lisa's in the Northwest. There's lots of opportunities in both regions, particularly if someone is up for the adventure to do a duration posting. That is a significant bonus into each of your selections. Northeast is the best region. Never mind anything else. I've spent almost 20 years in the Northeast, and I wouldn't change that for anything. So if you haven't looked at any of those options in the North and Northwest, please do read some of the action plans for each of the detachments online and learn about the areas and the opportunities that present themselves. So it never hurts to have a variety of postings that you're willing to go to. But at the end of the day, we're going to work with you.
I could do a whole AMA on Northwest region.
Yes.
I think we should do that. I'll invite you, Kelly.
That would be nice. I would like that. Absolutely.
Okay, how much volunteers experience would you recommend before applying? Okay, Kelly, how much would you recommend? What would you say kind of would be fair? How would you answer this question?
Well, I don't judge volunteering by the hour that's volunteered. I am looking more about, are you community minded, and do you do something consistently, and that you haven't just started volunteering for the sake of meeting a minimum requirement in your application. So when I give ideas and suggestions on what you can do to volunteer, I usually say pick something that you have a passion for, something that you have, perhaps you love basketball or hockey, or you're an animal lover, and consistently every month that you're doing something towards that, whether it's walking the dogs at the local shelter once or twice a month, or maybe you do have the opportunity to coach on a hockey team. Those types of things can show many pieces of our areas of assessment, such as volunteering as a coach is also leadership. It's also communication skills, depending on adapting your coaching style to younger kids, older kids, maybe adults. There's no magic number of hours, but I do want to see consistent.
So here's the thing with our 10 areas of assessment, we just don't want you to check a box just to say, okay, I have my 10 areas of assessment. Because sometimes we see with applicants, they're like, oh, I just need to get this. We want to see the actual passion. We want to see the motivation, because sometimes from obtaining your areas of assessment, from doing the community service, you can gain your leadership, you can gain references, you network, you can learn about yourself, you can grow, and you can sometimes realize things about yourself that you never really thought, and it could take you in a different path as well. So, if you're going to do something, do it well, do it right. And that could turn into different opportunities as well. So don't just do something just to check a box and to get, your community service. Because when you are passionate and you love something, you'll stick to it. If you have to do something just because you have to do it just to check a box and you think it's going to look good to us, it sometimes resonates through on your application. And we can tell if you're really passionate about it. So pick something that you're going to love and enjoy and just do it really well.
Absolutely. There's a question here on asking about, do we have jobs related to forensic science? In the OPP, we have an entire section related to forensic sciences. As far as those jobs go, all of our forensic ident folks are police officers first and foremost. We do not have civilians that we hire directly into those. That means you have to be a police officer, learn how to do frontline general law enforcement before you can build onto those skill sets in forensics, but very rewarding part of the OPP to work in.
And what's the maximum age to apply? Well, there is no maximum age as long as you can pass our fitness standards. The level 7 ministry standard on the Leger shuttle run or the beep test, and the physical readiness test, prep test. 2 minutes, 37 seconds. As long as you can pass those requirements, then you can apply. Actually, there's been several applicants over the age of 50 that have been applied to us and been successful. So we just have minimum, no maximum.
And kind of building on, is there a maximum age? Lots of questions here surrounding vision. For the details on that, please visit our opp.ca/medical for our vision, hearing, and medical requirements, and it'll cover off those details for all the vision questions coming up.
Oh, and I think it's Sefter. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but if you go on Spotify, we do have called Reflections in the OPP. It is a podcast. There is actually Nicola, I don't want to butcher her last name, Kelly, is it Amor? I've listened to it. So there is one related. She actually was in the fitness industry. She did change careers, and she was 51 years old when she applied and was successful. So, tune in to see her journey and what it was like at 51 to go through the process.
Yeah. One question here about duration postings and what are the years and minimums for duration postings. Those range from 2 years to 6 years, depending on the location. So that's definitely something you want to research and know what you're signing up for as you go, because if you do go into a duration posting, you are expected to complete it before you're allowed to transfer out to a new detachment. So I always joke when it comes to how do you judge whether it's a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year duration, and I say it depends how far you are away from a Walmart. So if you are very far, the shorter the duration will be, and as you get closer to comforts and easy shopping like at a Walmart, then the duration gets a little bit longer. So those are definitely.
When you say Walmart, you're showing your age. It's Starbucks.
Yeah, closest to a Starbucks. No doubt.
That's so funny.
Absolutely.
Like, we care about Walmart, but it's Starbucks. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's
and
a better example.
yeah, Northwest Region has a lot of duration postings which have bonuses. So just FYI. Okay. Do we get paid while training? Absolutely. The moment you sign on the dotted line with us, you get paid. It doesn't get any better than that.
Absolutely, and right now is a great time to get into policing. We know that our Ontario's leader Doug Ford is paying for OPC right now. That was upwards over $15,000, and we don't know how long that will last for. So that means that not only when you start your first day of training you're getting paid, but you're also not paying for your lodgings, your food, or your time at the Ontario Police College either. So there's some bonuses there to keep in mind that it's a good time to come into policing.
Somebody asked, should we be attaching all references in the supporting documentation area? Yeah, as long as you're labeling them like reference, you can definitely upload them in there. Really, a lot of great questions as far as the application process, the downloads, and where you should have them. So that's great because other people are learning from these questions as well. So it's great to see the questions coming in. Application process really easy online. From the time you submit to the time that we offer employment, it's really happening really fast, 2 to 4 months. Like I said before, make sure no spelling errors, no grammar errors, you're following all the directions. If you get an email for some reason from Uniform Recruitment stating that they need something, don't wait, don't procrastinate. If you really want to get on and apply, answer your emails in a timely fashion so it doesn't hold up your application.
Awesome. Well, folks, it's been a pleasure. We're just going to wrap up here. Maybe we'll take one more question. I see a couple more coming in.
How similar or different is the cadet process? Cadet process is completely different than uniform recruitment. I mean, it's the same as far as applications. We don't assess fitness with cadets, so that there is, and the interview is a little bit different as well.
Absolutely. And just understanding what the difference is between applying for a cadet position and full constable position in regards to the cadets. These are intended to be a 1-year contract. And during that time, there's some training involved. It can be a part-time or a full-time position or a hybrid. There is a significantly lower pay scale for cadets. And the intention is that at the 1-year mark that person has been getting more skills and experience so that they're going to be competitive in the full constable position. So it is meant for folks who want to be full constables but aren't quite there yet for the competitive level. All right. Well, I think that's everything for today. Please do reach out to your local recruiter. Any questions that you have, we're happy to answer them, and appreciate everybody's attention for this afternoon.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great